Good afternoon, folks. Cody Nelson here. Just pulled over on the side of the road. Want to talk to you a little bit. I wanted to explain a little bit for a lot of you first-timers, new guys, you farmers, maybe just landowners. Maybe specifically landowners. Get asked a lot, why are we planting cover crops? Why do I talk about cover crops all the time? What's going on with the cover crops? What's the big deal? Everybody knows we need to stop the erosion. We're seeing over 5 tons per acre. I hear anywhere from 5.2, 5.8. I've heard over 6 throughout the entire corn belt. So we got to get that stopped as soon as possible. We need to maintain that. I think roughly over 10 years, that's going to equivalent to about roughly an inch of topsoil, maybe a little more than that. So anyways, we can't continue to let that topsoil disappear. If your tenants are telling you that you're just catching the neighbors and you're just trading with the neighbor, that absolutely is not the case. We are seeing some of it pile up in the road ditches, some of it's going in the rivers and drainage ditches. A lot of it is, we're seeing it. They've traced soil from Minnesota in New York. So we got to make that stop. That's first and foremost. We got to maintain the soil that we do have. We also got to build soil. So it's been said recently here that there's 1,000 years worth of potassium and phosphorus in the soil throughout the entire corn belt, but it's unavailable. So how are we going to make that available? I'd say first off, something similar to this. That's a cover crop, folks. That's a diverse cover crop. We have throughout most of the corn belt, we have corn and soybeans. Throughout here, we've got some sugar beets, we've got some canning crops. There's some peas and other, sweet corn, which isn't much different than corn. There's some edible beans, kidney beans, things like that. A little bit of wheat, not much. Anyways, when you get down to it, we really got corn and soybeans for most of it. Well, that's why we put so much potassium and phosphorus out in the fields, because the second you put it out there, only so much of it's available. And with using the same cash crops over and over again, we can't get to that on available nutrients. So that's where diversity is king. We need to cycle some of those nutrients through these diverse cover crop blends. We need to make them available when they die. When those cover crops die, those nutrients release and they're more available now to that next cash crop, so we can cut back there. That's just one of the inputs we're gonna cut back on. We're also fixing that soil to help with water infiltration. We're gonna be given the opportunity to do less tillage, or preferably no tillage at all, because of what the cover crops are doing. They're not loosening soil, working on a water infiltration system. They're helping the water drain faster, deeper. They're doing a lot of things that way. This is just some of the basics, folks. This isn't I'm not going to go all into detail, and I'm missing a lot of stuff here, but there's a lot of benefits. If we can cut back some of the tillage and cut back some of the fertilizer inputs, I think without a doubt we can make plenty of benefits on these cover crops. I think it's key that you're working with somebody that you know and somebody that you trust. You can't just decide one day, hey, I'm going to plant covers. Well, you can, but you got to make sure you're placing them right. You got to do the right cover crop in the right part of your rotation. There's certain things that'll work after this, certain things that'll work after that. So you got to make sure you get that all done right. Work with a professional, work with somebody that's been doing it for a long time. There's getting to be more and more of them out there. So, watch where the seed comes from. That's going to be crucial. Watch the germ. Make sure you get a high quality seed. And usually, even if it's a little bit more expensive, it's a lot cheaper in the long run. So, anyways, that's all for today, folks. I just wanted to chat and just talk a little bit about that. Kind of explain some of the basics of why we're so into these cover crops. We really need diversity. We got to protect the soil. We got to keep it there, and they're going to help alleviate the blow from rain and snow and wind, and not let that soil leave anymore. We got to cycle them nutrients and work on that water infiltration. Just I'm gonna leave one more thing on the water infiltration. Just imagine that root from all these different cover crops. So those plants die and decay. Now all of a sudden there's all these holes, and yeah, there's earthworm channels and all that. But now there's holes all the way throughout the field, and now that water can infiltrate on the hilltop. So when you do the tillage, you kind of make that powdery soil. Then after that first rain, it kind of gets flat and tight. The soils get real tight, and then that water can't infiltrate. If you've never seen this, you got to check out the the rainfall simulator. The rainfall simulator, excuse me. You got to look that up. There's plenty of videos here on YouTube. That if that doesn't make you a believer, I can't help you. But you gotta check that out. So anyways, if we can get that water to infiltrate on those hilltops, we're gonna prevent that water from running off down into the low spots. So this year we had a lot of zeros in those low spots, and we got to try and make sure we can maintain that. So what if we can have high yields both on the high ground and on the low ground? You know, usually it's one or the other depending upon the year. So anyways, I'm gonna run out. We're gonna go check the cows, and they're out grazing out there. I don't know if you can see them or not, but anyways, I gotta go. It's gonna get cold now, so we're gonna go get the water lines drained out for a couple days. And cows aren't drinking very much. I think there's about 60 cows out there roughly, and they're drinking about a quarter of a 250 gallon tank a day. So just gonna go get the line drained for a couple days, and we'll get it filled back up this weekend. So like the page, or like this video, please subscribe to Cover Crop Kings, and we look forward to bringing you some more stuff here throughout the winter and into next year. So thanks for following us, and we sure appreciate it. Look forward to the future. It's bright. Have a good one.